Namaste, and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, and I'm so glad that you could join us this evening for the last installment of our Kali Nityas Puja series and Satsang series. Let's start out with a few announcements. First, this coming Tuesday, we're going to be beginning another series on four principal forms of the goddess Kali as worshipped in the Kathmandu Valley. This is really the theme of my last book, Kali Meditation, Book 3. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be featuring a different goddess. It'll be both a puja and a satsang. And we're going to start with Ma Sveta Kali, the White Kali, also known as Naradevi, or the Goddess of Humanity. And then next Friday, that'll be start of October, we'll be doing our monthly Kriya Yoga practice, and we're going to be featuring the form of Kriya Yoga that was taught by Swami Ganeshananda, affectionately known as Ganesh Baba. And so it'll be a chance to sample another form of Kriya meditation. Something else I'll mention, seeing this is the last of our Kali Nityas series, every other week we're going to be doing another series of goddesses, specifically 12 forms of Ma Kali, who are described in a 1,000-year-old hymn called the Krama Stotram. So these are the 12 Kalis of ancient non-dual Shaiva Tantra, and this hymn was written by the sage Abhinavagupta about 1,000 years ago. So we're going to, over the next 12 installments, we'll be both discussing and honoring these 12 aspects of Ma Kali. So a lot of interesting things coming up in the next few weeks. I want to wish everybody also a belated fall equinox as well, and it's looking very fall-like, and the temperature of the air is feeling that way as well. So let's go ahead and begin our discussion. And the PowerPoint has already been uploaded onto YouTube, and it looks like 4 people have viewed it already. Also, I want to apologize for everyone who will be watching this recorded broadcast, probably beginning tonight or tomorrow. For some reason, I'm having trouble getting YouTube to work out of doors, and so I'm still trying to debug that situation. So I'm going to keep trying, and hopefully in the near future we'll have this issue resolved. So, as I've mentioned in the previous 14 installments, the Kali Nityas are a collection of 15 goddesses who are different aspects of Ma Kali. And when you look at the slideshow, you'll see this slide of all 15, their names and their order, and you kind of see their yantras in it too. So they're associated with the 15 nights of the waning lunar cycle, so from the full moon to the new moon. And the 15th of the Kali Nitya goddesses is Kali Mita. And here's an image of Mita sitting upon a corpse in the cremation grounds. As the 15th goddess, she represents the 15th night from the full moon. So this is the goddess of the new moon. And her name means measurer. Think of the word meter as a measurement of length. It sounds a lot like Mita. Her name also can mean fixed or grounded. and therefore she rules our awareness of the present moment, and also our awareness of the divine presence within the material world surrounding it. The material is not separate from the divine. It's all an aspect of the divine. Her yantra, or spiritual diagram, there are 3 triangles inside a 6-pointed star, surrounded by 8 lotus petals, and then the 4 gated enclosure called the Bapura. And so the innermost triangle, each of those 3 corners represents one of Kali's names. First point is Kali herself, then the name Karlini, which means killing our inner demons, and Gorda, which means fierce. In the second triangle, the 3 points are Vama, meaning the left hand. Think of the left hand path of Tantra, exploring things that we might be afraid of or uncomfortable with. Jestra, which means inauspiciousness, and we certainly can learn things and gain strengths when less than fortunate things happen to us. And then Raudrika, which means creating fear, and again, fear within our inner demons. And then the third triangle of 3 points, Isha Shakti, the power of will, Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. And actually, first 3 installments of our Kathmandu Kali series, we're going to be talking a lot about these 3 aspects of the divine: the will, the knowledge, and then action. And then, unlike the other yantras that we've been discussing in this series, the 4 corners of the yantra also represent different aspects of Kali. The first part is Vartali, which means ways of communication. Then the next 2 points are Laghu Varahi and Svapna Varahi. Varahi is the Shakti of Lord Vishnu's wild boar incarnation. So there's 2 aspects of that Shakti, that feminine power. The first one means quick, and the other means consciousness. And then in the 4th quarter, Tiras Karani, which means a veil. So a thin cloth covering, being able to look beyond the veil. As I've discussed before, the 6-pointed star, the 6 points of the hexagon, represent the 6 limbs, which are 6 branches of Vedic study. So things like rhyme and meter, pronunciation, etymology, even astrology is covered among the 6 limbs. And then the 8 petals, the matrikas, the 8 little mother goddesses, and then the lokapalas or dikpalas, the directional protected deities in the Bapura, the 4-gated enclosure. When we are chanting the mantra in our fire puja, I'm going to invite you to visualize the form of Ma Kali Mita. And she's dressed in red clothes with disheveled hair, rising, swelling breasts, beautiful buttocks, delighting in nakedness, terrifying, dark blue in color, sitting on a corpse, wearing a garland of skulls with 4 arms and 3 eyes, holding a sword and a severed head in her left hands, and dispelling fear and granting boons. So these are two mudras. Dispelling fear is this one, the upward pointed hand, and then giving boons is the downward pointing hand. You see those mudras a lot on images of Ma Kali. She is like 10 million fires of disillusion at the end of time, dwelling upon the cremation ground. So her nudity, the universe is her garb, hence the power of the infinite. Her disheveled hair, her hair relates to the interconnectedness of all things, so her hair is going in all directions like a network. Her rising, swelling breasts and beautiful buttocks are related to fertility and birth-giving and sensuality. Her blue skin, like so many of these aspects of Kali, is related to the destruction of evil and also personal courage within her devotees. Being seated upon a corpse, this is an extreme form of tantric sadhana, sitting upon the corpse on a cremation ground, and this is related to transcending our greatest fear, which is the fear of death. Her red clothing. Red is the color that's related to both sensuality and purity. An Indian bride wears a red sari, and at death her body is quite often wrapped in a red cloth before cremation. Red is also the color of Shakti, divine feminine energy. A red-colored dress is very often put on deities like Kali, who are charitable, brave, protective, and who have the capacity to destroy evil. Her three eyes, as I've mentioned before, consciousness in this realm and beyond. Her four arms. 4 is the number of Dharma, the correct order of the universe, and also discovering the true meaning of our life. And I already mentioned her hand mudras, dispelling fear and giving boons. The reward of the boon comes from letting go of our fears. Her sword, cutting away ego related to attachments, and those attachments are symbolized by the severed head. Her skull necklace, the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, thus the power of the word and the power of mantra. And a mala is also related to the cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. And then the fire shining like a fire on the cremation ground. This is the power of transformation. Ma Kali Mita's mantra is a rather long one. So, as with our other discussions and our other pujas, I'm not going to expect you to chant the mantra. It's going to be more of a tool for meditation. So I'm going to describe her form for you so you can meditate on that form with your eyes closed, and then just let the power of the mantra take your consciousness to where it needs to go. But her mantra is Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Paramite Kramaya Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Paramite Prakrakramaya Om Krim Hum Hrim Em Soham Fat Svaha. Om, the creative consciousness of the universe. Krim, the Bij mantra or seed mantra of Mahakali. Hum, the protective power of the Divine Mother. Hrim, the Bij mantra of the Divine Mother. Aing, this is a Sarasvati Bij mantra. Parakramaya, the highest illusion created by the senses. So, on one hand, we look at the material world and sometimes we get tied up in it. We think that's all there is. We don't see anything behind it. Here's this Sarasvati energy reminding us that there's this divine presence as well. So Him, sometimes pronounced Im, is also a Sarasvati seed mantra, as is M as well. Soham, related to Satnam or Hamsa, means I am that. So we're asking the Divine Mother to teach us the true meaning of the things that we are perceiving and experiencing. And then Phat, the deity's destructive power, and Svaha, I am one with the divine. So before it gets much darker, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started with our puja. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Sitting with a straight back, either on your mat, on a cushion, or in a chair. Close your eyes. Open your breath. Letting go of the concerns of the day, our concerns of the past, our concerns of the future. Centering on the present moment. And with this fall season, again, I invite you to think about something that you're ready to let go of, to shed, like the leaves on the trees, which are already beginning to turn. Think about that aspect. And visualize for a moment what it would be like to be free of that aspect. And then finally, bringing your palms to heart center. Let's open our puja tonight by chanting the mantra Om 3 times. Inhale. Pavitra pavitro va sarvavistam gatopiva yashmare pandarikaksham sabhyabhyanta sushi. Om gam ganapataye namo namah. Jai Ganesha. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Kailase Patona Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutita Harani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Jai Ma Kali. Om. Jai Ma. Om Kapuragaram Karanavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendra Haram Sadasantam Hridayada Vinde Vivam Bivani Satam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishwara Devi Chachara Chadasya Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva. I invite you to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Clearing your mind, clearing your thoughts, and focusing upon the space just before the forehead, a dark void called Chitakasha. I invite you to focus upon the void, the infinity of space, the darkness from which Ma Kali gets her name, along with time. And as you peer into the darkness, a shape begins to manifest. And you see it as a human figure, a feminine goddess figure. And before you is sitting Ma Kali Mita, the last of the Kali Nityas. She is dressed in red clothes. Her disheveled hair is in all directions. She has rising, swelling breasts, a beautiful buttocks. She is delightful in her nakedness. She is terrifying, dark blue in color, sitting upon a corpse on a cremation ground, wearing a garland of skulls. She has 4 arms, 3 eyes, holding a sword and a severed head in her left hands, dispelling fear and granting boons with her right hands. She is like 10 million fires glowing brightly. Fires of disillusion at the end of time. And she is surrounded by the fires of the cremation ground. As we make our offerings to the fire, I invite you to focus upon the sounds of the mantra and let it carry your awareness to where it needs to go at this time. Jema Kali Mita. Om Krim Om Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Kramamaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Rim Aing Mite Para Karmaya. Om Krim Hum Mem Soam Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aim Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aim Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aim Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aing Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Aim Mite Pada Karamaya. Om Krim Hum Him Em Soham. Hum Fat Svaha. Mita. Jema Kali Mita. Jema Kali Mita. invite you now to slowly open your eyes, focusing upon your screen and the fire that's burning. And for the next few minutes, I invite you to meditate upon the fire, giving those things in your life that are no longer harmonious to the fire, so that it may be transformed. And as you meditate upon the light and the heat of the fire, feel the gift of the fire in the form of healing, in the form of balance, in the form of knowledge. Jai Ma Kali Mita. Jai Ma Kali Mita. Jai Ma Kali Mita. Jai Ma Kali Mita. Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadake Saranye Trambake Devi Naryane Namostate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sana Bhavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vidyavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tatsat Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ma Devi. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Kali Mita. Jai Ma Kali Nitya. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Ma. Namaste. Blessings always. And thank you. I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday and begin our new series on the Kalis of Kathmandu. Jai Ma. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend.